That's great. Now, I guess we're going to do a little tasting here, but let's pause. I'm going to get into my drinking shirt because you were kind enough to get me a CBC shirt. So I'm going to change into the shirt, and then we'll do a little tasting.
All right, sounds good. So a few things about the ciders. Dry hopping cider is a relatively new phenomenon, at least in the commercial industry. So I've picked 3 dry hop ciders from Massachusetts. The first one, Far From the Trees, the name of the cidery. Nova is the name of the hop cider. They're in Salem, husband and wife team. Originally had studied winemaking, and then realized that Salem, Massachusetts doesn't have the climate for grapes. So they opened a cidery, and it's wonderful. We do a lot with their seasonals, but the dry hopped one is the one that does the best. So people are sometimes intimidated by the name dry hop cider because they're afraid it's going to taste like an IPA. Most of the hops that are used in dry hopping cider is purely for aromatics. Dry hopping even beers, you're only using for aromatics as opposed to something that's going to change the flavor or the alcohol content.
Now, does that confuse people when they're looking for a dry cider? Do they see dry hopped and think it's a dry, hopped cider or a dry hop cider?
Yes, and so great question, because ciders, the way beers go, malty to hoppy, ciders go dry to sweet. And so a dry cider and a hop cider can be 2 totally different things.
When you're doing the taste with this, do you do it like wine and try and breathe over it? And
smelling is just as important as tasting, absolutely. So now the next one is another dry hopped session cider. Session means
so it's Prospect Cider Works, and it's a session cider.
So session means less than 5%. Session can be beer, cider. You're meant to drink more than one in a session, and I think we all do that. Yeah. But these are a little lower ABV, sessionable drinking. Now, Prospect Cider Works used to be Harvard Cider out of Harvard, Mass. They rebranded. They wanted to keep part of their hometown in the name of the rebranding, so they kept Prospect as an ode to Prospect Hill and Harvard. They found space in Roxbury right next to Bully Boy Distillers. So great location. They'll be doing some stuff with Bully Boy's barrels, which is another, in addition to dry hopping, people are also barreling.
Well, people have done that a lot with beer, like the Kentucky Bourbon Barrel Ale and stuff like that. Okay.
That's where I'm going to leave it for today. If you liked what you saw on today's show, get in touch with us at With Jeff. This show is driven by whatever scampers across my mind and gets me onto a soapbox.
Another day in the city, and 1 month from the phone. Another week on the side street.